Welcome back, friends. The next topic in the operator series are concatenation operator. Before concatenation operator, in the last video, we were discussing about arithmetic operators, and in arithmetic operators, we were discussing about unary operator, we were discussing about binary operator, and we have also discussed different unary and binary operators, their rules and regulations for using unary and binary, and also we have seen the difference between unary operator, prefixed increment and decrement operator, and postfix increment and decrement operator, right? Now, in this lecture series of operators, this is operator part 2. Today we'll be looking into few more operators in detail, right? We'll start with concatenate operator. Concatenate operator. As the name suggests, concatenates means joining. It will join two items together. Remember this point. And what is the symbol we are using for concatenate? The symbol is a plus sign. Whenever I said the symbol is a plus sign, you might immediately ask me a question. Sir, can you please explain? While explaining arithmetic addition binary operators, what you said, this particular operator is there to add two numbers. Now you are saying this is an operator which is called as concatenate operator. And what it will do? It will combine or join two strings together, right? Now, can you please confirm whether this plus is an additional addition operator or it's a concatenation operator? Can you please confirm which one is true and which one is false? Listen very carefully to this. Plus, if I say plus is an binary addition operator, and I can say plus is an concatenation operator. In both these cases, these are valid. These are valid depending upon the type of operand I am giving to this plus operator. This plus operator can be called as binary operator or it can be called as concatenation operator, right? This is one classic example of polymorphism. Polymorphism is one of the major property of object-oriented programming. As you know, Java is an object-oriented programming language. It also supports the property called as polymorphism. Polymorphism means single process having multiple purpose. Now you can see here the process is same, the symbol is same, plus it will be operated in two different way. At some place it will be called as binary addition operator. At some places it will be called as concatenation operator. So this is one classic example of polymorphism in Java, right? Okay, let's move ahead. That means we can understand this plus operator can be used as addition operator, means arithmetic addition operator, or it can be used as string concatenation operator, right? Okay, now you will say, sir, we can conclude this can be used for two different purpose. We can understand how the compiler will understand when it has to apply this arithmetic addition operator and when it has to apply the string concatenation operator. Now the answer is very simple. The answer to this question is, listen very carefully. The answer to this question is, if all the operands, I repeat, if all the operands are numeric values, then arithmetic addition operator will be operated. If I'll say 20 plus 30 plus 50, 100% pakka, what I'm going to get? I'm going to get 20 plus 30 is 50 plus 50 is 100. Sure. Now, if the operands are string operands, suppose I am writing Odisha here followed by in double quotation state, and you know anything enclosed within a double quote is called as a string. We have also discussed this particular part very thoroughly in the data type section, data type 2. We have clearly discussed, even in the literal section, we have discussed how the string literals can be represented. Even if you missed that one, please make sure you understand this point. String literals are always represented within double quotes. Now what we have done, we have written Odisha and state here. Now if I apply this concatenation operator on two strings, immediately I'll find Odisha followed by state. So this will be the output. Now one conclusion is fine. If operands are, yes, if operands are numeric in nature, arithmetic addition operator will be operated. If the operands are string, then it will be concatenation operator. Now listen to this example again, this example very carefully. The examples are like this. Suppose I am writing, let us go to the Java environment. We'll directly write there and we'll understand how these programs will behave, right? Okay. So that will be the best way to go, I hope. Let us create that program and we will see how the things will be operated. Suppose I am writing integer a is equal to 20, b is equal to 30, c is equal to 50, right? And if I am writing, if I am writing system.out.println, followed by a plus b plus c, you will say, sir, 100% pakka. What I'm going to get? I'm going to get the addition of all the three numbers, right? And you are absolutely fine. The addition is 100. No doubt about that. Now, next, suppose I am taking two string variables. S1 equals to, let me write my name. I'll write Srikant. String S2, I'm writing Java. Right? Now, if in the same place, if I'm writing both the statements, suppose I am writing a, instead of a plus b plus c, I'm writing S1 plus S2, right? Now let's see what is going to happen. You can easily see Srikant Java is clearly there, right? It is clearly there, Srikant followed by Java, right? Now, I think these two examples are pretty clear, no problem in that. Now, my question is, can I combine both of them together? Can I combine integer values with string value? Now, if this happens, what will be the case? The thing that we have just discussed, if the operands are numeric value, arithmetic addition will be performed. If the operands are string, then concatenation will be operated. Now you will say, sir, you are confusing us. In this expression, you have written integer as well as string. Now, how the compiler will behave, how the compiler will perform this operation? Listen to this one very carefully. The rule is, if among one of the operand, if one of the operand is a string operand, then from that point onwards, plus operator will use concatenation, right? When string is if one of the operand is string, definitely concatenation operator will be there. And remember, this system.out.println will operate from left to right. That means till it find the number, it will be calculated as arithmetic operator. When it found a string, it will concatenate. That means this particular operation is absolutely valid. What we are going to get, 20 plus 30 plus 50 means 100. S2 is Java. So what I am going to find, I am going to get the output 100 Java. Let's see. But before that, make sure we have shaped this program. Next, let us compile. The code will compile definitely fine. If I run that program, exactly the same output that we have just discussed, right? Now, let us do a different example. Suppose I am writing here a plus b plus c, not a plus b plus c. So, see, listen very carefully what I am writing. I am writing a plus b plus, after S2, again I am writing b plus c. Now, tell me, this is valid or invalid, and if this is valid, what will be the output? Here what we have done, we have not written only numeric in once continuous, we have written numeric here, then a string followed by numeric. Now what is going to be happen here? Whether all these strings will be combined, whether this number will be combined, what it will combine, or this will be invalid. Can you please pause for two seconds and check it by yourself, then you can come back. Please pause this video for 2 seconds. You try it by your own compiler, then come back so that we can discuss. Okay. Now, let us see what my compiler says. If I'll compile this program, immediately my compiler says no problem at all, we can compile. Now, see the result. See the result. Let me copy the result there. We can discuss happily there. Don't worry. Let me copy this one. I'm copying this result. Let me paste this result right here. The result what we are going to get is this. Now what is happened? What is happened? Listen very carefully. Till it finds a string. Before a string, everything else are numeric. Now the discussion, as per the previous discussion, when there will be numbers as operands, immediately it will be operated as arithmetic addition operator. So immediately a plus b means 20 plus 30. How much it is? It is 50. Now once I'll get a string constant or string literal, immediately from that point onwards, concatenation operator will be operated. I repeat, if there will be one string operand, from that point onwards, concatenation operator will be activated. Before that, arithmetic addition operator will be activated. Means it is a combination of arithmetic operator plus concatenation operator, right? So this particular statement is valid, no problem at all. But if I'll ask you what will be the data type of this one, can anybody tell me? In system.out.println, fine, we are getting this one. What will be the output of this one? What is the data type of the output? Will it be an integer? Will it be a string? Yes, you are right. It cannot be an integer, because you know integer always can store what it can store. It can only store numeric values. If I am writing result equals to all this, happily I could able to store this value. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? Confused? No. Absolutely right, no problem at all. If I write, my Java compiler says fine, I can also print this one. See, the output of this expression is always a string. I cannot store that one into integer. If by mistake I will be storing this one like integer result equal to this, immediately my compiler will raise an error. It will say possibly lossy conversion from string to int, which is not possible, right? So make sure you understand this point. That means one conclusion we can made here. You can write the notes there actually. What conclusion? Conclusion number 1, if the operands are numeric, then which one will be operated? Arithmetic operator, right? If one of the operand is string, comma, from the string literal to the end of the expression, concatenation operator will be operated. Before that, what is going to be operated? Only arithmetic operator. That means in an expression, we can happily combine numeric along with string. No problem at all, right? That purely depends when it can be used as arithmetic, when it can be used as concatenation operator. I hope you all could able to understand this point. That means concatenation operator operated on, basically this is operated on strings. The output of concatenation operator is always string. And what is the symbol we are using for concatenation operator? A plus sign, right? You can add those conclusions that we have just discussed. Conclusions like, in one of the operand is string, then concatenation operator will be operated, right? You can write, if one of the operand is string, then concatenation will be done. But remember, this concatenation will be started from the point where string literal is present, not before that. Before that, numeric addition will be performed. I think we have clearly seen this example. You can also add those examples to your notes, right? So this is all about your concatenation operator. Remember, the output of concatenation operator, that depends upon, it's a combination of arithmetic operator or concatenation operator. Anything it could be, but the output is always a string. I hope you all could able to understand this particular operator, concatenation operator, right? Next, let us go to the next operator, and that operator is a relational operator. Relational operator, as the name suggests, it will definitely try to find out the relationship between the operands. Remember, all these are binary operators. We require two operands to execute this, but all these operators. We require how many operands? Two. Like a less than b, a greater than b, like this. So two operands we require. Now few conclusions we have to make here. Remember the first conclusion. The first conclusion is, or we can write the notes if you want. We can write also one by one point. The first point, how many operands it requires? We have already also discussed the operand. There should be two operands. Now, all the operands, yes, all the operands should have, or all the operands are of primitive type. Remember, this cannot be able to operate on object. This is only operated on primitive type, except, remember this point, except Boolean. Now, all the relational operators can be operated on any primitive type except Boolean. Boolean is not allowed here. But the interesting part is, even if none of the operand here will Boolean, but at all the times, all these operators produces Boolean only. The output of this particular operator are always Boolean. Either it will be true or it will be false. One among these two values, right? The maximum possibility, the maximum value that all these operators can produce, either they can produce true or they can produce false. They cannot produce 1, they cannot produce 0. No, this is invalid. Only valid values, literals, are thus, right? Remember this point very carefully. One primitive operator where it cannot be operated is Boolean, even if all the operands that we are using are of primitive type except Boolean, but the output is always Boolean, right? Remember this point very carefully. Say, for example, if I am writing system.out.println 3 less than 4. Now 3 less than 4 is true or false? 3 less than 4 is true or false? Immediately it will say 3 less than 4 is, yes, true, right? What, man? 3 less than 4, right? Similarly, if I am writing syst A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. If I am writing A greater than B, immediately the output will be 10 is greater than 20, false. Immediately it will give me false value, right? So make sure you understand this point. All these relational operators, they can produce either true or false depending upon the relationship, and it cannot take the operand type as Boolean, right? I hope you could able to understand this point. You all could able to understand this point now. Now you can tell me, if I am writing B is equal to 10, A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 40. Suppose I am writing integer C is equal to B greater than A. What will be the output of this particular statement? What will be the output of this particular statement? Now B greater than A. Is it true or false? 40 is greater than 10. So this will be true, right? Now true is which kind of literal? It is a Boolean literal. Now the question is, can I able to store Boolean literal into integer variable? No. Incompatible type. Compiler will raise definitely an error. Incompatible type. Possibly lossy conversion from Boolean to int, or Boolean cannot be converted into int. Make sure you understand this point. But this particular practice is pretty valid in the old language like C and C++. So make sure you are not putting any C and C++ experience here. This will be completely wrong. Make sure you understand this point, right? Similarly, if I am writing A less than B less than C, suppose I have written here C is equal to 30. C is equal to 30, right? Now this statement is a valid statement or invalid statement. If it is valid, what will be the output? We'll discuss this question, right? Remember, all these relational operators are always operated from left to right. From left to right. Now, in the first case, A less than B will be operated. And what is the output of A less than B? We have already discussed. What is the value of A less than B? We have already discussed. This will produce either true or false. 10 is less than 40. The answer is true. Now, if I rewrite this expression, true less than C. Now, less than is a relational operator, and the operand here is a boolean literal, and here is a int literal, right, or int variable, right? Now, the question is whether true is allowed here as an operand. We have clearly mentioned all the operands are of primitive type except which one? Boolean. So this kind of notation is not possible in Java. But if you compare this one with your old language like C and C++, that this particular statement, A less than B and less than C, is completely valid. But that is only in C and C++. But if you apply this particular knowledge in Java, make sure you understand this is completely invalid, right? So this is all about a relational operator. Make sure you understand this particular point also, right? The next operator in series are comparison or equality operator. Now, before going to comparison and equality operator, I should add one more point here. Remember, these operators never operate on this is very, very vital. This operator never operated on objects or reference variables. Means what that does mean, suppose I am writing string s equals to Srikanth, right? String s1 equals to classes, right? Now what I'm doing, I'm writing s greater than equal to s1. Now the question is whether this statement is valid or invalid. Make sure string is not a primitive type. String is a predefined class, right? So these are reference variables, right? So reference variables cannot be used as the operands of relational operator. Make sure you understand this point. Make sure you understand. Immediately your compiler will come up with an error message. If you want to check, we can cross check. Let us cross check this particular one, then we'll go through for the next one, right? Let us cross check right here. So what we will do, we have, fortunately we have that s1 and s2. So what I'll do, I'll directly write system dot out dot print or println. What I'm writing, s1 less than s2. Now let us see what my compiler says. Let us see what my compiler says. Immediately your compiler will raise an error. What it says? Bad operand type for binary operator. So for binary operator like less than equal to, all the relational operators, they cannot be string, they cannot be any reference variable. They have to be a primitive type. These two operands should be a primitive type, means either byte, short, int, character, long, float, double, and it cannot be boolean, it cannot be any other type. Remember this point. Remember this point. It cannot be operated on reference variables. Reference variable is the right word to say. You can add objects / reference variables. Make sure you understood this point, right? Okay. So that is all about your relational operators. In the next one, in the next operator series, let us discuss about comparison or equality operator, right? We have two in that series. We have double equals to, or we have not equals to, right? We have double equals to and we have not equal to. Now, as the name suggests, double equal to, if you put your previous experience of programming knowledge like C and C++ here, the same. For primitive type, if I am writing int a is equal to 5. Similarly, I am writing b is equal to 10. Now, if I am writing a equals to b, always it will return either true or false depending upon whether a is equals to b or not, right? Now, in this case, 5 is equal to 10. If I'll ask you, you'll say, sir, 5 is not equal to 10. So the answer will get happily false. We'll happily get the answer false, right? Okay. Now listen very carefully. Similarly, if I am writing a not equal to b, happily you will say, sir, a not equal to b is true. So what I am going to get is I'm going to get the value true. I'm going to get the value true. Now, what if I'll put the same experience here? If I let me put the same experience here. What S1 I am also writing Srikanth. I'm also writing Srikanth. Now, if I compare S double equal to S1, S double equal to S1. Now, here for primitive types, remember this point. For primitive type, double equal to or comparison operator, what it do? It only checks the content. It only check the content or the value of both the variables. But if this is a reference type, it always checks the address. What that does mean? Let us understand. So the first case, the value of A is how much? The value of A is 5. The value of B is 10. So happily I can say this is false. If I say B is equal to 5, if I say B is equal to 5 and A double equal to B will definitely give me true, because value of A is 5 and value of B is 5. So 5 equals to 5 is fine. If I'll talk about this, A is equal to 5 means a space will be reserved for A, one more space will be reserved for B, and we are comparing the primitive type, so value will be compared. We can say the answer is 5. Now, in case of non-primitive of reference variables, what is happening? I am creating one reference variable S. Now, this is one object. What happens? A string is created. A string is created, right? Suppose I am writing not in this way. Let us directly go to the environment, go to the C environment. Then we can, I think we can do that. Suppose I'm going to create an object. I'm writing new string followed by Srikanth. Here also same. What I'm doing, I'm also copying the same thing, but here instead of S, I'm writing S1. Let us understand what is happening. Now, what is happening here? Whenever you are writing a new operator, immediately a object will be created, and the value of that object will be Srikanth. Make sure you understand this particular part. Now, whenever I am writing string S, means S is a reference variable which is pointing to Srikanth. Clear? Now, in the second step, whenever again creating one more object Srikanth, one more space is reserved, and the content of that object is Srikanth. And which one is referring? S1 is referring to Srikanth. Now, the question is, the content of S and S1, content of first object and second object are same. Content are same. But the question is, are they referring to the same memory location? No. That's why whenever I am writing S double equal to S1 for non-primitive types or for reference types, immediately it will be compared in the basis of references or the basis of location where they are stored. If they are sharing the same memory location, the answer will be true. If they are sharing the different memory location, the answer will be false. I repeat, if both the memory location of both these reference variable, if these two variable referring to the same point or same object, we'll be getting a value true. If they are referring to a different object, we are going to get a value false, right? Let us have one more example. That means in this case, if I'll tell you, can you please tell me if I am writing S equals to S1, what will be going to happen? This will be definitely a valid one, but what I'll get a false value. Don't worry, we'll cross check this one. Then suppose at this again, after this particular one, what I am writing string S2 equals to S1. Look at this particular statement very carefully. What I am writing S2 equals to S1. That means same memory location, or S2 will be referring to the same location where S1 is referred, right? Now S2, a variable is created that will pointing to the same location where S1 is stored, or S1 is pointed. That means S1 and S2 both are referring to the same object. Now, if I am comparing S1 and S2 together, immediately my JVM will say no problem bus. Since they are referring to the same object, the answer will be true. So in object or reference cases, value or content is not compared, rather what is compared? Yes, what is compared? Memory locations are compared or references are compared, right? Not the content. In case of primitive, contents are compared. If contents are same, in case of primitive, the answer is true. Otherwise, false. Let us note out this point. Then we'll discuss some other conclusions also. We have very good conclusions to make. We'll go one by one. First of all, for primitive. For primitive, how this will behave? Primitive, which one will be compared? Value of the variable will be compared. Make sure you understand this point. Value of the variable are compared. First point. Second one, whose value? Basically, value means the value of the operands, right? Value of the operands. If you want to make it more precise, value of the operands will be are compared in case of primitive, right? Here boolean values are also operated. If I am operating true double equals to false, definitely what I am going to get is we'll cross check this one, right? Okay, next. So for primitive, no problem at all. We are definitely going to get the value comparison on the basis of value that is stored in the primitive value. And what will be the output? The output will be either false or true. Make sure you understand this point. The value will be always in Boolean, output value. Now, in case of reference variables, which one is compared? Reference objects or reference variables are compared in terms of memory. In terms of memory location, they are pointing to. Remember this point. They are pointing to. If both are pointing to the same memory location, I'll get a true value. If both are pointing to a different memory location, I'll get a false value. Is that clear? Okay, you can write if both are pointing to different memory location or different object, we can if both are pointing to different object, then what I am going to get? This particular operator produces false value. Otherwise true, right? Remember this point. Now, you can ask me, sir, do you have any other process so that the content can be compared? Content of both the reference variable can be compared? Yes, we have a method. For that, we have a method called as dot equals. Right? So how we can use? We can use S1 dot equals S. Now here what will happen? Here reference variable are not compared in terms of referring object or memory location. Rather, they are now compared in terms of content. That means if I compare like this for S1 and S, I will definitely get a true value, right? If S1 and S, suppose S1 is a reference variable pointing to an object where SK is stored. Again, S is a reference variable which is pointing to an object where SK is stored. Now the question is, if I compare S1 double equal to S2, if I compare like this, definitely 100% confirm what I am going to get. I am going to get a false value because S1 and S2 both are pointing to different memory location. Done. Now, if I compare S1 dot equals within bracket S, now I'll get a true value because S1 and S both contain same value. So if I'm going for equals to or equals method, then what I am going to get? I am going to compare the value present inside the object. If I am using only comparison for non-primitive, then what I am going to get? I am going to compare in terms of memory location where they are stored or the memory location where they are pointing to. Let us cross check this one, then we can go for the next operator. We'll compare each and everything that we have just discussed here. So I don't think I should, let me go for everything else. Let me go. I am writing A is equal to 20, B is equal to, let's say, 20, right? So if I am writing system.out.println, if I am writing comparing A equals to B, what will be the result? Let's see. The result will be, I am writing here A equals to B. Either it will be true or false, right? Similarly, I am writing string S1. I am writing here new string, within bracket I am writing Srikanth. In the second for the second string, so let me copy the entire one so that I don't have to retype the whole again. Let me write like this. Done. Okay. Now let me compare the second one. First one is the primitive, second one is the reference type. So what I am doing, we are doing like S1 double equals to S2. Now if I am writing S1 double equal to S2, right? For relational operators, you make sure this particular operand are invalid, but for comparison operator, these particular operands are valid, right? This is as per the definition, as per the rule of Java. Let me compile. Let me see what my compiler says. Is there any error? No, my code compiles fine, absolutely fine. Let us execute the program. See, first case, A is equal to B is true because A and B both share same value, 20 and 20, right? Similarly, the second one, what it says? The second one says S1 equals to S2 equals to false. See here, the value of S1 and S2 both are same. The value of S1 and S2 both are same. But the memory location, as we have discussed, whenever we are encountered this particular statement, immediately a new memory location will be reserved whose value will be Srikanth. And S1 is a variable which is pointing to the first object. Similarly, in the second case, a new memory location will be created with same value, but a different reference variable will be pointing to this particular address. Now the question is, S1 and S2 both are sharing the same location or different location? Since these two are sharing different location, this comparison operator will give me false value. Remember, this case is only valid if you are going for non-primitive data. For primitive data, values are compared. Make sure you understand this point. Otherwise, things might be go in a different way. Now, the second one. Suppose I am writing here string S3 equals to S1. No problem. S3 equals to S1, right? Now let us compare. This one. I am writing here S3 with S1. S1 with S3. Now as per the discussion, what is going to happen? First one variable is created with name Srikanth. One object will be created with reference variable S1. Second object is created at a different memory location with the same value. Now S3 is one more reference variable created. Now look at this statement. S3 will be assigned, S1 will be assigned to S3. That means S3 will be pointing to the same object that S1 pointing to. That means S1 and S3 both are sharing the same object, are sharing the same memory location. That means the output of this particular statement will be 100% pakka true. I hope you got the clarity of this particular operator. Now let us see to that. Code compiles fine. See, the last one says it's true. The last but one says false because these two are sharing different location, but these two are sharing same location, right? Now the last one, I want to compare the content, not the reference, not the memory location. So what I'll do, instead of this one, what we can do S3 and S1, right? Instead of comparison operator, we can write one operator called as equals. S1 equals S2. See here, even if S1 refers to a different memory location, S2 is referring to a different memory location, but since the content of S1 and S2 both are same, this particular operator will give me true value, because equals operator always compares the content of reference variables, not the memory location. Make sure you understand this point. Make sure you understand this point. So whenever you are going to compare the content, the best option is, or the only option is, yes, the only option is equals. If you are comparing the memory address, the only option is comparison operator, right? Code compiles fine. Let me check. See, in the previous one, S3 equals to S1 is true. Now, if I am comparing the value of S3 and S1, it will be again true, right? So it will give you much more clarity if I am going for S3 and S2. It will give you much more clarity. Let me go with S3. Now, let me go with S3 with S2 here, with S2, S3. S3, S2, right? Now, let us see what is going to happen. My code will compile definitely fine. Let me run that program. See, S3 and S2, it says false because they share different memory location. But the content of S2 and S3 are same. So that's why the last one says true, right? So there is a difference between this equals and this comparison operator. This is a very good question for your interview room. Can you please tell us the difference between comparison operator and equals method? Comparison operator, when operated on non-primitive data or reference variable or objects, they are compared on the basis of memory location they shared, right? But dot equals to will compare on the basis of value contained in the reference object, or value contained in the location where S2, S1 and S2 is referring to, right? I hope you all are clear about all these points. You all are clear about all these points. So I don't think I should give any explanation for this not equal to operator. This will be exactly working in the reverse way that comparison behaves. So that means the conclusion is comparison operator can operate it not only on primitive but also in object or reference variables. In primitive, values are compared. In reference variable, address or memory locations are compared. This is one conclusion, right? In order to compare the primitive objects or non-primitive objects value, we can go for dot equals, right? So these are the things you need to conclude. So with this, let us conclude this video. In the next video, we'll again discuss about all other objects like logical operator, bitwise operator, and assignment operator. Thank you so much for joining.